Hey, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day. Man, it's good to be home. I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited. So we're trying to get back into the grind of things on this S10 crew cab build. It is Friday, August 29th. I'm gonna say it is. I'm sweating like a dog. I have so much to talk about, but I know you guys don't want to hear it. I know you do. We're gonna do it in bits and pieces. My trip down in Houston got cut short. This is a pretty cool shot. We're all tag teaming on this circuit. We got crews down there, and over here. Boy, oh boy, man. I thought I had it bad in the garage. That was nothing compared to this. It's like a whole nother level of heat. Unbelievable. The trip was supposed to be 7 days a week, 12-hour days for 5 weeks. It turned out to be 7 days a week, 16-hour days for 2.5 weeks. And the difference was the 16-hour days were all double versus the 12-hour days would have been time and a half. So we made out really good. I was hoping to stay there longer to make some more monies, because monies is always a good thing, but that's okay because we got to get this truck done. Man, do I have so much to talk about. So much. Really good stuff, really sad stuff. But we're just gonna roll with the video. I'm gonna show you what we're working on, and we're gonna try and chime in bits and pieces here and there on what is going to happen to this channel and to my life. I'm sweating like a pig. Let's get into the video. So I'm making a plate to be a piece of reinforcement to go behind one of the panels. And I'm drilling some holes, which you'll see in a second. I'm fixing the plug weld. My last hole right here. And of course, a piece of hot metal has to land on my finger. So basically what we've got is a flat piece of steel. I'm gonna grind all these little high spots off, and I'll show you what we're gonna do with this in just a second. Now, I'm sure you can hear the cicadas in the background, but try and pay no mind to them. I mean, they're very annoying. So what I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to reinforce the back end of this, because stitching this into the firewall is going to be a nightmare. I've got some vice grips. We're going to tack along this edge right here. Put a vice grip there. I don't know if I'm going to get a vice grip all throughout this, but what I can use is a C-clamp. Put a vice grip there. Yeah, so a lot's gonna happen, man. A lot is going to happen. I kind of want to show my face when I start talking about it. I don't want to do it like this because I feel it's not personal when you talk behind a camera versus looking at a camera. I don't know, that's just me. But I'm sweating like a pig. So I'm gonna plug weld all these real quick, and then we'll get back to you all in just a second, but this will all make sense very shortly. So what I went ahead and done was basically just made a border I gotta flatten this out. So once I install this panel, I can stitch it from the back side. I have this as a guide. I'm gonna trim it up a little bit. Not sure if this corner is gonna work. It should work inside the truck, but got a couple of holes. We've got a drill. I'm gonna go ahead and pop these in real quick before we forget. All right, get this cleaned up. I'm sure you see the sweat pouring off my face. I cannot wait to get out of this weather. I can handle the heat, but trying to build stuff every day in the garage. So we're moving. Yeah, you heard me correct. We are moving. Magic Man is moving. So long story short, without explaining too much of my life, I cannot make a living here in Florida. What I'm doing here is for funsies, to make a few extra bucks. This does not provide me my sole income. To keep it simple, the most simplest version possible, you all know I build power lines for a living. Well, I cannot do that here in a non-union state such as Florida. There is no work for me here in Florida, union work as a journeyman lineman. And it's forcing me to move up, to a good state where I can work. All right, so we're gonna pop this panel in here. I had to do a little bit of trimming, but for the most part, she fits in here really well. There it is. Let me get my screw in here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You got a little pilot hole down here. And now what we can do is pop a couple of screw holes through here, pull it together, and then we can do our stitching. But before I do that, I need to make another little template for inside of here to put over this, to weld this. Just gonna point out something really quick. I'll have to do a little more finagling on the firewall with some files and blocks. Absolute nightmare. Absolute nightmare welding to this because of the galvanizing that was inside of the paint, which when you hit it with a flap disc, it gets all in the metal, and when you start welding to it, it fizzes and pops and burns and all that happy horse doo-doo. So what I chose to do was, this panel was going to be recessed back. I ended up cutting it and butt welding it and then rolling an edge into the corner right here like this. You can see the edge that I've rolled to match the edge over here. Obviously we know that the firewall is pushed out further than that side, so that's kind of a dead giveaway why the firewall is looking the way it's looking. So I created an edge to weld all this to. I had a hole here I had to plug up. I seam sealed it. It's rough right now. I need to trim it back. I need to trim this back. But we're starting to take the shape that we need in order to close this hole up. Now you can see the other little holes that I drilled. That goes inside of here to weld this to this. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. Probably roll the edge in, and then I have to do some finagling. But it's starting to come together. Absolute nightmare, this firewall. At least for me, very odd shaped, very awkward to try and come up with some sort of plan on how to attack this firewall, but little by little we're getting it. So yes, we're gonna move. I've chosen West Virginia. So if any of you subscribers live in West Virginia, I'm still looking for an area in and around Charleston. Not in Charleston, but around Charleston, typically more so Huntington, West Virginia. Reason being is because, my apologies, I'm rubbing my eye. Reason being is because I have to chase storms That is where I make the bulk of my money to provide for my family. If I live in and around Charleston area, there's 8 to 10 contractors that I can jump on storm with whenever there's a call to go and make monies to provide for my family. Yes, I'm still going to have a garage. I'm actually going to have a bigger garage than what I've got here now. Probably something along the lines of like 100 by 100 or 50 by 100. Yeah, that's the plan. Florida, and I'm sure you guys know, has become, well, pretty much anywhere in the United States, has become untouchable. The land, the housing costs, everyone's struggling. So in order to provide for the family, Florida has to be a distant past. We have to zip on out of here. So we're going to upgrade the shop. We're going to upgrade some tools. We're going to upgrade the lighting. We're going to upgrade the air conditioning. There's going to be a lot of upgrades. I'm super, super excited for this. But what's stopping me at the current moment is this truck right here. Not in a bad way. We need to get it done. We need to get it rolling so Scott can take it. He can bring it to his house. He can work on it. He can give it back, whatever he chooses, but it has to, I have to get it done. So that's why there's kind of a big push to close up the firewall, to get the chassis rolling, and all that fun stuff. If you live in and around Charleston, West Virginia, comment down below. Hey man, if you want to help out. I reached out to a few friends and some said they were able to help out. Some said they weren't able to. But regardless, another thing, and I'm sorry for talking so much, I have a lot to say. Another thing is I'm buying some land. If you're familiar with West Virginia, it's a little town called Left Hand, West Virginia. It is just northeast of Charleston, of Elkview. Getting a really good deal on it. I'm going to put some pictures up on the screen. It's 6.5 acres. I went and looked at it on the way home from Ohio. And yeah, so I'm going to be picking that land up as well. Probably going to fix the homes that are there. One of the homes, at least, that that's there on the property, and use that for the time being to for myself to live in. So there's just an insane amount that's going to be taking place. Rome wasn't built in a day, so we got to do this baby steps. But I'm very excited. I am extremely, extremely excited. I'll go ahead and pop a couple of screws in here. Pull this together. We've got to sand the inside down. Not a big deal. And now we've got a nice, clean, smooth surface. So it's going to get a little bit crazy for me these next couple of months. The little house that I'm fixing to buy, I'm going to need to do a bunch of work to it. So I'm going to be up in West Virginia. I'm going to film it. It really looks bad. I'm sure you guys can agree. Personally, I like tackling projects like that, taking something that is really, really bad and really ugly and turning it into something like, I don't want to say breathtaking, but turning it into something that you would never have expected it to look that way. That's kind of what I enjoy doing the most. So I am definitely looking forward to this. I am definitely looking forward to becoming financially free of burden, of debt, and having a new start at life. My son and I managed to drop the Bel Air off in Alabama. Just a short little clip it. Oh yeah. Mr. Milfed is going to work some magic to it. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to that. In order for me to make the trip to Ohio, I needed to be there for 9 a.m. in the morning. I got the call around 5 p.m. Luckily, I was already inside, cleaned up, fixing to have dinner. My bags are always packed. My tools are always packed. All I got to do is load them up, throw them in the truck, and take off. So got the call at 5. I left the house at 5:45 p.m. Drove all night, nonstop, only for fuel and only for bathroom break. Drove all night from Florida to Ohio to be there for 9 a.m. No rest. Mind you, I was in the garage all Saturday working on the truck. Got to Ohio at 9 a.m. Did a little briefing, chit chat, found our trucks, was on the road by 10:30, drove from Ohio straight to Texarkana, Arkansas. Finally had gotten some rest. Luckily, I was paired up with another lineman, so we switched. He would drive for a little bit, I would drive for a little bit. The AC in our truck was horrific. Funny story, we had to pull into a rest area. I said, dude, next rest area we find, we got to stop. I got to look at the air conditioning, and keep in mind, you know, the further south we were getting, the hotter it was getting, and this truck was just big pile of junk. Ran inside, got a can of Freon, had to buy a toolkit because the Freightliners, the bucket trucks that we were using, they have a cabin air filter and they always clog up. So while we were fueling up, I pulled the cabin air filter out, and of course it was mucked up. I believe I have a picture I'll put up on the screen. Charged the system up with Freon. I believe we were in Arkansas or somewhere, maybe even Kentucky, I forget. But yeah, so I had to fix the AC in the truck. So Ohio to Texarkana, Arkansas. Then the next day we drove from Texarkana all the way to Houston. So I made one giant U across the United States, and I swear I must have did like 2,800 miles, maybe even more, maybe more, over like 3,000 miles. Just a funny story I wanted to share with you guys. I thought, you know, you get a kick out of it, but it was a long ass couple, 2-3 days until we were able to get some rest. All right, moving right along. I wanted to sit the engine back in, double check, make sure everything fits. We're gonna go on the inside. We're gonna show how far and where we need to close up. It's kind of the other reason why I put the engine back in. Another thing to keep in mind, I am gonna move the engine forward roughly 1/2 inch to 1 inch to clear the exhaust from the firewall. I'm not happy with that. That's why I want to move it. So not a big deal. We've got the clearance to do it. I've just got to notch out the cross member ever so slightly. But you can see how the firewall has come together. I'm happy with it. Everything's sealed up. Another thing which I forgot to mention, I'm knocking everything over. I had to, I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with S10s, but I had to build a divider for the channel, the cowl channel. This whole thing went all the way across. It was all part of the air conditioning box, so the water used to drain through to the other side. Well, not anymore. She's completely sealed. That was a challenge in and of itself, to make a template, to get in there and weld it, and to seal it up. So both sides are sealed up with seam sealer, which came out really nice. So now what I was mentioning was our transmission basically clears. We're going to do a little more clearancing. I think I'm going to notch it here and then take some out of this and roll it even further, so it's more along the lines of almost like a Y instead of a taper. But now you can see the corner. This will be one piece right here to fill this all in. Well, two pieces, you'll see in a minute. but same on the other side. I can close it in. I'm going to make a mark for the transmission dipstick on that side, and that's what we're going to work on now. We're going to get this whole side here closed up. But she's coming along, man. A little bit of a pain in the ass, but she's definitely coming along. Our brake pedal we're going to work on probably on the next video, situating that'll go right inside here. I've got to custom bend it and what have you, and then the throttle pedal, which would be right about here. So he's going to have a lot of foot room, which is really nice. You can see the floor, how flat the floor has become. I'm happy with it, you know. The other thing I thought about doing was reusing the old tunnel, but it's probably not going to happen. So now you can see the panel. It's just kind of sitting in here. You can see the difference on how much foot room he would have lost with the tunnel and everything. Your side of your foot on the pedal would have been awkward. But yeah, this whole piece is definitely not going to work. And also this is recessed. Kind of got, I'll pull it out and you can see it better. This is done this way because of the firewall, the way they constructed the firewall. This side sticks out further than that side. So obviously we're not using it. So we're playing a game of connected dots. We're going to lift up the cab and make a template, start closing up this firewall so we can move on to the tunnel. So we put some marks in the corners using our level, basically holding the level straight up and down, made a mark. That's where our panel is going to stop, right into here. So what I need to do is, as far as this side, I'm going to trim back this edge right here. Well, I'm gonna make a cut. Try and get this as straight as possible. There we go. And use this piece as a template. So there is no blueprint for me to make this. There really isn't. This is kind of a build as you go type of scenario, but it's really not that hard. That's basically it. And you're not going to see it. It's so far hidden behind the engine. Not that I'm trying to make it a specific way, but yeah, that'll work out good. Wanted to square the edge up, so we're going to slice and dice. There we go. And that's basically what we're trying to do. Trying to close this corner in. Same on this side. I've got it pretty dang close. I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of tacks on it and tap it, finesse it, so it fits a little better. But that's essentially what I've been trying to do or achieve. I would like to get this to be flush so it looks as one. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal to get to happen. A little bit of love taps and we should be good to go. All right, we're getting there. I need to trim a little bit inside of here so I can flush this, make it all nice and one like I did right here. Probably going to round this off. So this kind of goes like this. Have to cut a chunk out of this, but stitch the bottom of the floor. I'll wipe some seam sealer over it. I've got to finesse this a little bit in this corner and play with this right here, which isn't a big deal. I'll probably do that from the inside, but overall, I think that looks pretty good. We got, excuse me, room for our dipstick. And keep in mind the engine's coming forward a little bit, ½ inch or so. I got to work this edge right here a little bit, but overall, I think it looks really good considering there was a giant hole inside of here, and all this had to be made by hand. Now we're going to do this corner, but that will be in the next video. We are going to complete this tunnel for the next video. Our transmission clears. I may have to finesse this a little bit right here. I got to look from underneath. I think I do. Not a big deal. Same over here. I got to finesse this a little bit. Looks like this got beat up pretty good, and you ain't going to get a plug here. No biggie. We can fix it. Like I said, we were going to probably just make this a little wider. But overall, our hole is getting smaller. She's shrinking. We got to do some love to this corner over here. And you can see that's the old heater box right there. That void. Huge. Thing is ginormous. I believe I have pieces of it on the floor, but that's what, that's what that was. And water ran through into the heater box out, the side of the truck, like the vent we have over here. Right here. I got the little flapper. We got to put our little flapper back on. Guys, that's going to do it for this video. These last couple of days have been extremely chaotic with having real estate guys coming here, talking with us. My wife and I have been spending countless hours looking for rentals in West Virginia, looking for land in West Virginia or homes, but this is 110% going to happen. It has to happen. I'm really looking forward to it. Hopefully, we've got some mini trucks out in West Virginia. Comment down below if you've got a mini out there, and we'll have to get together or something when the time comes. But as always, man, I appreciate each and every one of you. We strive for perfection in the garage. We do the best we can with what we have. Till next time, have a wonderful day. We'll see you on the next one.